Howdy folks, the word for today is bats. I have what is technically called a bat colony in my attic. I think colony is not really the right word. It's more of a settlement nowadays, like Jamestown was a colony. This is definitely Philadelphia. They've really established themselves. I believe they have an active government and a fully functioning economy.
We can't stop here. This is bat country.
To be fair, these bats have lived in the attic longer than I've lived in the house, so really I'm invading their space. And we had kind of a situation going before that they stay in the attic and I stay down here, but in recent months they've broken the treaty. I never actually dealt with bats. I'm not a bat expert by any means, what they would call a bat man.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude who doesn't want bats flying around his house. Yeah, they've been in the attic, but they're slowly slipping on through. So I did a little research on the bat. I called some exterminators just to see what possibly they would do. And I see no reason I can't handle this myself. After doing some research, here's what I learned about the bat. In Ohio, there's 13 species of bat, many of which are on the endangered list. What I have is a bat. I'm not really sure what species of bat I have, but it sort of has this long, stupid snout like this, kind of weird face, and wings that look like this. It essentially looks like my dog's head, but with little claws on the end of it. So I don't. Again, I feel like I like them. They're cute, but they'd be a lot cuter somewhere else. And I'm one of those annoying hippies, so I have to practice what I preach. My first instinct was just to go up there and just flat out murder every single one of them with extreme prejudice, but I thought maybe I'll put my money where my mouth is. So I looked them up, and their breeding season, or they have their babies from June to August. So if you take care, or you kick them out before then, you got a bunch of dead bat babies up there, and it's bad for the species all around. So if you'll notice today's paper, it is August 2nd. I gave them a bonus 2 days. Also, the Dayton schools are getting taken over by the state. What else is new? So the bat, again, it is time to go. He's my enemy, but I do not hate my enemy. But I've had to learn a little bit about him. I don't want to murder him. I have what is known as an objective, and it is not his death. It is him leaving my territory. I know he was here before I was, but that's the way it works. So I got a kind of a 3-part plan. It's psychological, chemical, and physical. The psychological bit, well, first it was recon. So I did a little recon. I learned this about bats. The French called the bat the flying mouse. But that's because the French don't know shit. It's got nothing to do with mice. It's not even closely related to the mice, to the mouses, or the rodents of any way. It's actually closest relative is the sperm whale. I didn't know that either. So it's actually very closely related to the horse. He just flies around, so if you fill a hole, unlike a rodent, it won't dig back out that hole. It just goes out the hole. I've also learned this about bats. I've never really messed with them until recently, but they're exceptionally dumb. Probably the dumbest animal I've ever seen. Like, if you're sitting in a room with the lights on, he just flies right in there, then freaks out. Like, you came in here, dude. You knew we were in here. We were not being quiet. So I'm not too worried about his ability to navigate my system. From what I've witnessed, he's pretty dumb. And again, I feel bad because they're endangered, but we have swapped a few with a frying pan. Again, these are the ones that broke the treaty, and it was out of a moment. It was a crime of passion. We didn't necessarily want to kill it, although we were laughing when we did it. I like to hit him with a pan and then say, "The reviews are in, bat, and you've been panned. Or you're out of the frying pan and into the pan." My one-liners need work, but my system, I think, is pretty good. Okay, so my plan is I'm going to enter the attic, for which I have some heavy-duty coveralls, a little face mask. I wanted a little respirator goggle thing, but I couldn't find it, so I got a little mask thing that'll cover my mug. This guy, some goggles, my respirator downstairs, gloves. I'm going to tape up my boots because I don't want these guys to start freaking out and flying at me. While I'm up there, I'm going to check for holes. I called the exterminator guy, and what he said was, what we'll do, if we want him to go in the attic, we'll look around the outside for holes, we'll patch all but one, and then make it a one-way exit, so when they fly out, they can't get back in. but it's $160 for us to come out and do the evaluation. And I was like, dude, I appreciate that. Thank you for telling me exactly what I need to do, and I could use that $160 to buy all this crap. So I'm not, $160 plus $1,000 to do it. So hey, Batman, kiss my ass. So while I'm up there, I got these guys. I'm going to lay them in a string because, as you know, bats don't like light. Most people know that. So that way at night, when it's nighttime, I can plug it in so it makes the environment unfriendly to bats. While I'm up there, I'm also going to spread mothballs throughout the place. So apparently they don't like the smell of mothballs. And I got this spray foam. This is the great stuff, the black can. There are many different types of cans. This is perfect for this application. Different colors will expand more. So if you're putting it in a door and use the black can, it could buckle your door. Usually with mice, you need to put some steel wool in there because they'll dig it out. But like I said, that stupid ass bat will not dig it back out. He'll just see that the place is blocked and he will not come in that way. Yeah, oh, then I have this here fabric. What I'm going to do is this kind of slick, and I'm going to lay it over. I'm going to patch the holes from the inside except for one, and then this is going to be called an exclusion point. So I find where it is and I kind of lay it flat so that way they can worm their way out. The fabric will become flat and they won't be able to get back out of it. I got a size large. It's tight on the wrists and hands. Again, I'm going to put gloves over top of it, like such. But I like the looseness of it because I can give me the moves I'll need if shit gets hairy up there. I'm bringing this bucket up after I go up and tie a little rope to it and bring it up. The hole's not very big in order to get into the attic. This guy out. But I plug them all in and turn them on so that way this evening when they leave I'll plug it back in so they're like, why would I go in there? It's all bright in there. I'm going to have my mothballs in here afterwards, already opened and ready for the sprinkling. This smells right. Feel confident with the coverage. Look like I'm in ISIS. I'm going to wage jihad on these bats. I'm not very good at jihad sounds. It's always been something I've been kind of embarrassed about. There's guano up there, so I don't want to breathe that in. And the other thing I'm going to want to have is Excalibur, in case I need it, but I have it hanging there, so I need be. Pretty good. So far I've not seen any yet. If I turn this light off, and look in there, you see small specks of light. Means they could be coming out of there. I'm going to guess by the pile of bat shit and the spray foam previously that they had an entrance. It was like a Al Capone safe video. Sorry for the big letdown. I heard him up there. I didn't see him really, but I got my mothball spread. I got the lights up. As many holes as I could find, spray foamed. It is hot, and I don't know why they'd even be in that attic. It is hot up there. It's probably because it's 85 today. It's probably 120 in that attic, but that's why they should go somewhere else. You can tell by the loads of bat shit right there. Can you hear them? Maybe the mothballs are working. Oh, I think they just live right up in there. Well, sorry, boys. You hear them flapping around? Holy shit balls! I'm not gonna lie, that looks like hell, but as it's like this, no one's ever gonna see it except these bats. And it's a little bit difficult to do a tidy job when bats are flying around your head. So I got that one bit patched, and now I'm gonna make my exclusion point. That's a one-way exit where they can get out but can't get back in. Look at all that shit. Oh, there's a dead one there too. Sorry, pal. Alright, it is dusk, so I'm gonna light these dudes up. Excuse me, son. Also, they don't like noise, so I'm gonna play some music for them tonight. Let me see that flashlight. Hey, hold this radio for a second. Now that we have their soundtrack going and the lights on upstairs, I'm going to go outside and see if I can see where light is escaping. So if I can see that, maybe I can tell. Look how I make my kids live. Just total shanty town. I'm trying to build character with them. It's not building character. It's not working. Oh, that's where one's coming out. I just saw him. Alright, so where we're at now, we're 3 days past mothballs, blocking the holes, making a one-way exit for the bats. I thought it was pretty good for a couple nights, and then but I think what I may have done is inadvertently blocked them all in the house, in the attic, because I've had a lot more visitors than I would like to have had. And one yesterday, this actually was Monday afternoon, today is Wednesday. It was Monday afternoon, and it was the middle of the day. My son went upstairs, and he was like, he was messing around. All of a sudden I heard what sounded like a car alarm going off. It was the loudest thing, and it sounded mechanical. I can't reenact the sound. And he's like, there's a bat. It was right up on this door frame, just sitting up there, and just screaming his head off, right? And he was in his little bat pose. And then I got my Andy Murray Bat Whacker 2000, and I go up there, and he's just screaming like in my face. And when I got close to him, he goes with his wings out like that. Dude, I had never been that scared in my life. One time, this is about 10 years ago, this big Ethiopian cab driver in DC was running up to me to whoop my ass, and I wasn't as scared of that dude as I was. I held my own with that guy. He did kick my ass because I'm not very big, but I still held my own. But I wasn't as scared of that as I was of that bat screaming in my face. And I didn't want to mash him up, but it was the middle of the day, and so I didn't know if maybe he's rabid or not. So I whacked him, and I turned his dead body over to the county for an autopsy to see whether or not he's got the rabies. I'm waiting on the test for that. So I'm going to sleep in the RV for a little while. You got to make sure his brain's not beat up. And I don't know, it was turned into a crime of passion because he hit the ground. I just kept just pure fear-driven bat whacking. Yeah, so I feel bad, but I think a lot of them were able to get out beforehand. Maybe he either got... It makes me think three things. One, yeah, either he's rabid, hopefully not. They haven't had a case of rabies in this county in over 5 years. I know that's not a very long amount of time, but that's better than nothing, better than 5 days. So it was either that, 2, I blocked off his exit and he came into the house bit and he couldn't get out, and he's a little pissed off because he's hungry and he'd been down here for a few days and he's got no water and no nothing, and the lights are on and he's kind of pissed about it. Or 3, I've not solved anything and he's just a dick and he's down here because bats do, from my internet research, bats do occasionally come down during the day. They sleep 18 hours, sometimes they wake up at the wrong time. Doesn't necessarily mean it's rabid if it's awake during the day. But I've also not had more than a consecutive hour of sleep in a while. I shut all the doors and I tuck t-shirts around it and masking tape the door off so I can sleep. Every little sound I hear, I'm geeking out, freaking out back and forth. One whole night I was trying to sleep in the house. I had my ceiling fan on and I would hear this, my beautiful, well, I have a weakness for old lady artwork, but it's barely, I don't know if you could hear that, but I thought something was scratching right above my head, and I'm laying in bed going, it's in the house, and I kept turning all the lights on. I didn't see nothing. And then this lamp is a little bit lopsided, so it was barely moving. So I was hearing these 2 sounds all night, and I'd get up and walk the house with my Andy Murray bat whacker and find nothing. And then I'd get back in bed, and shortly after I'm in bed, all night. So back to Old Faithful. Alright, what I've decided to do is set up some, this is a poor man's alarm system, bat detection system. This way I'm not just freaking out thinking every little sound in my house is a bat. I got this guy here. It's a little, you plug it right into a light bulb, it makes any light a motion sensor light. This Luke bat detection system is patent pending. And instead of going into a bulb directly, I'm going to go this way. Wait a minute. Okay, no, yeah, alright. So this is the motion thing. According to this, it is good up to 20 feet. So I'm going to plug it into here, so that will turn on this little, the plug outlet power. So this will initiate the power for both the plug and the bulb. Which I've got this very cheap clock radio. I'm going to try it out now. I'm going to get it, I like to put it on the oldie station, I like oldies. So that way when I go up there with my Andy Murray tennis racket, I'll have some nice tunes to jam to while I'm busting ass.
It's on its shoulder.
Let's give it a little test. Dark room. That gives you an audio and visual cue that it's bat whacking time. This isn't bat related. This is back to RV, but it's an RV channel, so at least it was anyway. Not all extension cords are created equal. I have my RV plugged in out back, and I was running the air conditioner all night because I had my kids out there because I don't want them to get rabies, weirdly enough. And I don't know if you can see these melted together. And I got a GFI protected, it's in a GFI protected outlet. And it didn't pop for some reason, so that's kind of scary. Yeah, look at that. Fried it good. So anyway, I spent money. This was not cheap. This is a $100 extension cord, but it's a 100-foot heavy-duty extension cord. So I'm going to use this so I don't set my house or RV on fire. I've been meaning to do this anyway. I wanted to weave a kind of heavy-duty extension cord through my fence so when I pulled my RV in I could just plug it in easy peasy. Look how nice my corn looks. Alright, this is a bit hillbilly, but it's underneath the RV. And I'm gonna go ahead and put it in a bag just to keep it dry. Now I can switch my RV on and off from inside in the house. Really, I just want an excuse to show off my garden. Look how big my sunflowers are. There's my zucchinis. My cantaloupe's looking pretty just about right. Look at that. Tomatoes. I got a red one. Got a picker. And then my other sunflowers. I'll be sad when it's fall and they go away. But I'll have all kinds of sunflower seeds to chew on, to spit out the seeds of. Honesty comes from the mouth of babes, but guano comes from the ass of bats. One of the things, I got the holes kind of clogged up, and now I'm going to start from the top like a spill, and you just clean from the top down. Guano can actually make you very sick, so you need to take all the precautions you can. I was going to wear my whole little paint suit thing up there, but I was kind of weighing the safety of whether or not I wanted a slippery ass paint suit on a roof versus getting guano on my skin, so I think I was going to take the risk of option B. You don't necessarily need this, but I got this big sweet beard, so it's hard to get a good seal between the two things. I'm going to make sure this dude is on tight. Purchased this guy for $25. This might be just a one-time use shop vac. I'm going to go around the inside of the attic and clean up bat shit and do some further investigating, see if there's any current signs of life up there. The outside guano is cleaned up. I don't know how powerful this thing's going to be, but hopefully since it's new it will be. And I got the cheap one because I don't necessarily know if I want to play with like a bat poop covered shop vac. I'm going to clean it up, I guess. We'll see how it goes. I don't like to be wasteful, but it's adorable, isn't it? Look at this little guy. Makes me feel like I'm a giant. Like, can you get my shop vac? And then I grab it and they're like, wow, that shop vac looks really small because you're so big. Super excited to be going back up in the attic. I was worried I didn't get to go up there and clean up shit, but again, taking all precautions to not get some sort of guano bat poop related disease. This is also my I'm going to try to make this as long a visit up there as possible and check every crevice and crack and make noise and do what I can to shake them loose. I'm going to leave the back window open, so hopefully if they do get moving around, they'll find their way out that little hole in my access point, and then they'll just go straight out the window. But if they want to fight, they'll get a fight. Believe you me. What's up, dudes? I'm sleeping in the RV tonight and last night. As I got the test back as being positive for the rabies, it kind of changes the game plan. I sort of think I got them all. I don't know, I got everything sealed up, cleaned all the poo out. My house stinks of mothballs. Actually, I miss sleeping in the RV. It's actually been kind of nice. We're old friends, you know what I mean? This is my nest. I've been in this guy for a long time. So yeah, I gotta go. I'm going tomorrow, and let me turn down Ricky Bobby. I don't know. Yeah, so I got to go tomorrow to public health and get some rabies shots. The most redneck thing ever, sleeping in an RV in my backyard because there's rabies having bats in the house. I'm going to take a second to bitch about the VA, really. That's the Veterans Hospital for those. I called and I told them the situation, that I had a bat that tested positive for rabies, and they're like, well, if you haven't been bit, don't worry about it. And I was like, well, they're tiny. Everything I read, you wouldn't know if you've been bit. And they're like, no, you definitely know. And public health people, they're like, no, you wouldn't know. They said the last case we had was 5 years ago. A little girl got bit on the playground by a rabid bat. They saw it, and they saw the bat bite her, but they didn't even see the bite. So if you don't play games, I don't know how on brand it would be if that's how I go out because of rabies, but because I was feeling pretty good. I was feeling pretty good that we got things pretty well sorted out anyway, bat-wise. But now that it's a rabies situation, the care and consideration I have for if there's any bats left isn't quite as strong. I know it's illegal to kill bats because they're endangered, but if they got rabies, and if they're in a colony and they got rabies, I don't know if you ever spent the night with a whole bunch of people in a pile. You all tend to bite each other. That's just part of the game. So if one's rabid, there's probably a good chance a lot of the other ones are rabid as well. So yeah, I'm not sure yet. Well, yeah, again, I'm not sure what. Again, I got it all buttoned up, everything out there, and I'm losing my mind. Crickets kind of sound like bats too. I go around there at night. I walk around at night sometimes, like Bruce Willis at the end of Pulp Fiction when he's going back into his apartment and he's watching out for Marcellus Wallace's goons, and he's all, I gotta go into each room and kind of sneak around in case somebody's coming at me. But somebody told me I could put a bug bomb up there. Seems kind of cruel, but I don't know. I gotta wait and see. The county's gonna get a hold of me tomorrow, and supposedly they're trained in this type of deal, so we'll see when the saga continues. Alright, well, the plot thickened a little bit because one bat was found to be rabid. We're doing family rabies vaccination day, and my kids are actually on real health insurance. I use the Veterans Health Insurance. So first they were arguing with me about, well, you'd know if you've been bit. They're the only ones who said that. Everyone, public health, all these people, they're like, you'd no way you would know because they're small. Out of the last 5 documented cases, 4 people who died didn't even know they were bit. So in the future, if you go to the Veterans Hospital, just lie to them. Tell them it bit you right on the neck, and then jab yourself with 2 little needles so you don't have to go through this whole ringamaroo. I'm talking to this guy, and he's like, well, I think it's probably fine. Probably fine. There's no 50. Once you have rabies symptoms, you're going to die. And I've been biting people all week, so I think I probably definitely got it. No, I don't think I have it, but just in case, don't play with rabies because that stuff will get you real quick. Anyway, we're gonna get our shots, and then now that I have my rabies shot, I'm immune to rabies. So now I can just go up there and I'll just punch those bats right I'll choke them out with my bare hands. I like the idea of just smashing their heads together in my thing. But anyway. It's been about a week since I've heard any sort of bat noises, and also since the bats came back positive for rabies, and I've had tons of shots. I've decided to do two. This is supposed to do 2 things. One, bats carry what are known as bat fleas, so there might be fleas up there. So I got some of this bug bomb fumigator stuff. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick them up in the attic, so if there's any sort of pests left over from the bats, it should take care of that. And 2, if there's maybe a couple bats hanging around, they'll say, I don't think this would kill bats. I think it would just annoy them and make them leave, or make them make a sound, so at least I know whether or not I'm done or not. I think I'm done with them, but I'm not sure. You can see I went around, I hung up all the drywall, I sealed it up. I got to finish there, but I ran out of joint compound. I'll finish that off. So there's not really any holes they can get in here with, and theoretically this stuff can spray out into the living area. But either way, little precautions with this stuff. You want to be out of the house for at least 2 hours according to the can. Then when you get back, you want to air out the space and then clean off all your surfaces, clean all your linens. Those are the cautions you'll need, but I'm just going to go canoeing, so I'll probably be gone all day. The spot where I had fallen through the roof, I'm going to use that. I'm going to take that drywall off, place these on top of it, turn it on up there. Chemical warfare is what it is, really. I have them taped to this drywall here, so then when I place it back up in there, they should stay in place. Pretty firm. So let's light them up. It's not tremendously wise to be in the area where these things are spraying because they are toxic, but they are isolated in the attic space, so I'm only going to be here for a second. I just want to see if I hear any little chirp chirp. See if I hear any of them, because I feel like they would say something like, hey, I don't like this bug fumigation stuff. Let's get out of here before I die. Well, dudes, it is with some degree of confidence I'm going to declare victory on the bats. It's been 2 weeks since I've heard a sound, no sightings whatsoever, all the holes are sealed up, the poop is cleaned up. I've almost got me and all the kids' rabies shots done. That's honestly been the most annoying part, because it's a series of 5 shots, and they're all spread out at a certain time. Back in the day, it was just a big needle, and they just jammed it in your stomach, and you were done. But now they trickle it out. In the VA hospital, that's at least a 2 to 3 hour visit every time to get 1 shot. So that's cool. Bats suck, dude. I'm really bored of bats. So they're all done and dusted. I used to think it's because the foundation had problems, so maybe that's why they sold the house so cheap. But the asshole didn't. I went to the closing table with my daughter was with me, so my kids didn't exist in the abstract. He saw a kid sitting there. They sold me this house. Didn't say a goddamn word about the sleeping bats in the attic. So, not sure yet. I might try it. Because Ohio, you have even though you buy as is, there's like a law on non-disclosure. Certain things like a family of big, huge colony of bats in the attic. You should probably mention that to people. So, thanks to that guy. Yeah, my kids said to get rabies shots. What a nice fellow. Anyway, yeah, so like I said, usually a lot of times I do something dumb like this, like I fell through my roof and bats going everywhere. I would say I should have called a professional, but in this case, again, it's going to be like $1,000. And again, I will reiterate how dumb bats are. Like mice, you sort of got to put out mouse traps and kill them, try to block the holes, and they still keep finding ways in. Bats don't do that. You block the hole, and then that's that. So, I don't think the whole colony had rabies. I don't know. I guess that's kind of doesn't really matter at this point because they're gone. They moved on somewhere else. I've only had to murder a few of them, so that was a successful battle. So if you got bats in your house, you can't handle it yourself. It's not just again be safety with the guano. Safety if once you see that you have a colony in your house. I would also suggest you go get rabies shot straight away because they said if you have a bite, you wouldn't know it, and if you show symptoms for rabies, it's too late. They can't cure it. You're going to die. So those are my big takeaways from this. Anyway, if you have any questions about bats, go ask a professional because I'm not it. But anyway, thanks for watching this long-ass video about this 2-month saga I've had battling these bats.